There are a variety of question types, of course, a variety of game types, ordering, grouping, and within those there are subtypes. So if you do, of course, doing questions by type, which I assume you've done because you've been following the schedule, you'll start to see the patterns and see the connections.
Correct.
When you see a new game, do you feel like you're able to relate it back to the games you've done previously?
Some of them, yeah. And like I said, the sequencing games I'm getting a little bit better at, but the other ones are still giving me some difficulty.
Okay, so within grouping, are there certain games where you've later realized it was matching or it was in out, but in the moment you didn't?
Yeah, looking back on it, of course. But like in the heat of the moment when you're trying to answer the game, and like I haven't gone to the point where I'm timing myself, but I'm trying to keep that in the back of my mind just because I don't want to be taking forever on a game. So some of that stuff kind of slips my mind, but looking back on it, I do realize.
Okay, well, that's good to see at least. And obviously there's plenty of explanations out there that will show you a particular way to diagram it. And most folks will diagram it in a relatively similar way. But I think before that, before even looking at explanations, of course, you want to puzzle through it for yourself and think to yourself, what is the task at hand? Have you ever seen a game where you're seeing, you have a list of variables and they're saying you're choosing some, right? You're choosing some are going to be in.
Yeah.
So right away, you know, in out game, there's typically a way to do that, right? There's typically a T-chart, for example, you could do.
Yeah, the T-chart games give me a hard time, but like going through your videos, I noticed that like the vocabulary, I got to pay attention to that more because there's some words in there that throw me off and I'll draw the wrong diagram. So like I said, just being more meticulous with it and trying to keep the time constraint is something I also want to work on as well.
Awesome. Are you timing individual games, or how is the time constraint impacting you?
I haven't gotten to the timing yet, but like I said, in like the back of my mind while I'm going through the games just on my own, I try to push myself to do it as fast as I can.
And what does that look like for you? How fast is fast?
Like each game, if it's like around 5 questions, it'll probably take me around like 8 to like 12 minutes. Some games are easier than others, but the hard ones do take me a little bit.
Nice. Well, you know, that's not a bad amount of time. If it's taking you 8, 10, 12 minutes, just at this point in your prep, that's perfectly reasonable. Okay. And I asked you if you were timing individual games, kind of a trick question though, because I would never recommend timing individual games.
Yeah, no, I never timed individual games.
Yeah, so keep timing in mind, of course, but ultimately getting to the 35 minutes means that some games will take 10 minutes, others will ideally take 6 or 7 minutes.
Okay.
With time, it's a goal to get to.
Yeah.
But some games are harder than others. The famous CDs game from Legally Blonde, Test 31 Game 2, one of the toughest games of all time, crazy in-out game. That's a 12, 13-minute game for anybody, even if you're great at games, assuming you haven't seen it before.
No.
Yeah, so the other thing I'd say with timing is, how are you working in terms of the order of questions? In what order do you do the individual questions within a game? Do you do them in the order given?
Yeah, I do them in the order given, and also you sent me the schedule, and I noticed that, like the daily schedule has like, you know, the games, the certain games on the same day. So that's why I'll just do them for now.
That's awesome. That's the great way to see connections, because I'm having you do games of a particular type in a set. But what I'm actually getting at is within a game, within a single individual game, if you want to save time, you don't necessarily have to do the questions of that game in the order given. You could do the orientation question first, the kind of the gimme at the beginning, then your local questions, then the global ones. The local ones are like the if questions, the global ones are the more general questions. But if you save the general global ones for last, you can use your previous hypothetical scenarios to help you potentially knock out some choices. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.